Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Friends, before going into the details of the war, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to my channel and turn on the notification bell. Please support by subscribing and turning on the notification bell. We are a strong community. Air defense system activated as explosions are heard in occupied Mariupol. Petro Andriushenko, advisor to the mayor of Mariupol, reports that explosions were heard in Russian-occupied Mariupol, Donetsk Oblast, on Saturday the 29th of October. In the city center, in the area of the Azov market, next to the new Russian quarter, in the Livoberezhny district, in the area of a former brewery. Sources from the city say that it looks as if S-300 air defense systems are being used. This may be connected with the military situation along the Vuhledar-Volnovika line, cities in Donetsk Oblast. Russia is preparing a coup d'état in Moldova. The Washington Post: Russian special services are preparing a coup d'état in Moldova. The Washington Post reported about this with reference to confidential materials received by Ukrainian intelligence. It was revealed that the Federal Security Service of the Russian Federation, FSB, is working to subvert the pro-Western government of this country. Russia does not abandon attempts to manipulate and interfere in the internal affairs of Eastern European countries that were once part of the Soviet Union. Documents and interviews with Ukrainian, Moldovan and Western officials, the U.S. publication notes, indicate that the FSB has funneled dozens of millions of dollars from some of Russia's biggest state-owned companies to cultivate a network of Moldovan politicians. The purpose of this is to reorient Moldova towards Moscow. The U.S. Treasury imposed sanctions on multiple Russian or Moldovan organizations and individuals, including Moldovan opposition politician Shor, saying he was coordinating with representatives of other oligarchs to create political unrest in Moldova, and had received Russian support, as well as working in June, with Moscow-based entities to undermine Moldova's bid to join the European Union. Moscow has long supported a breakaway enclave inside Moldova's borders that is occupied by Russian troops, and the frozen conflict there has been a brake on Moldova's efforts to integrate with Western Europe. Management control of Moldova's two main pro-Russian TV channels was transferred to Shor's close associate at the end of September, according to Shor and the head of Moldovan Media Oversight Council, providing him with a major platform to advance a Moscow-aligned agenda. In addition, intercepted data indicate that the FSB had sent a group of Russian political technologists to advise Shor's party. Besides, according to the documents, the FSB oversaw a deal in which a Russian oligarch had acquired one of Shor's main assets, to shield it from the Moldovan authorities. The Shor's party was to be positioned as one of concrete action, populist, in the real sense of the word, a party that was changing people's lives for the better, the Russian strategists wrote in a report to the FSB. Moldovan and U.S. officials fear the Kremlin's efforts to subvert Moldova, part of a campaign that dates back decades, could only intensify if Russia suffers further losses in Ukraine. Moldova, which along with Ukraine was granted EU candidacy status in June, is particularly vulnerable to Russian pressure because of its near 100% dependence on Russian gas. Gazprom, Russia's state-controlled natural gas monopoly, cut supplies to Moldova by 30% this month and is threatening further reductions in November. In addition, Transnistria, the enclave occupied by Russian troops that controls the power station supplying the remaining 70% of the country's electricity needs, this week said it was sharply reducing those volumes because of cutbacks to the Gazprom gas supply. Officials fear that the Shor-organized protests, though relatively small for now, could escalate once winter hits and that an energy crunch could be used to topple the government. Moldova's new anti-corruption prosecutor this month detained 24 people, including members of the Shor's party, in connection with the alleged illicit financing of the demonstrations. Kremlin designates two Ukrainians, Inkel, NV journalist, as foreign agents. The Ministry of Justice of the Russian Federation has expanded the list of the so-called foreign agents, with 6 more people, including 2 Ukrainian citizens, Ukrainian political analyst and Priamy TV host Taras Berezovt said on Facebook on October 28. Berezovt said in a comment that he is no longer a political analyst but an officer of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, AFU. I need to say that I'm not a political analyst now, but an AFU officer. Thus we have other means to deal with the Ministry of Justice of the RF as well as with its other punitive authorities. Brick by brick, to the very basement. Commenting on his new status, Yakovina said, "To be honest, I'm very pleased. It's like an award. UPD. I'd like to immediately do something like, foreign agents, do. To arrange some intrigues or something like that. All by a monocle." On November 21, 2012, Russia enacted a federal law, under which individuals or organizations who receive support from outside Russia or are under influence from outside Russia should get registered and declare themselves as foreign agents. Upon registration, they are subject to additional audits and obliged to mark all their publications with a 24-word disclaimer saying that they are being distributed by a foreign agent. A ceasefire would condemn millions of Ukrainians to Russian occupation. A group of 30 progressive Democrats in the U.S. Congress sent a letter to U.S. President Joe Biden on October 24 asking him to pursue a ceasefire in Ukraine. Less than 24 hours later, they withdrew the letter following an angry backlash. This unusual incident highlighted the sensitivity of calls for a diplomatic solution to Vladimir Putin's Ukraine invasion at a time when millions of Ukrainians continue to face the horrors of Russian occupation. The 30 signatories of the retracted letter are the latest in a series of high-profile figures to voice their support for some kind of negotiated settlement between Russia and Ukraine. In recent weeks, similar appeals have come from diverse sources ranging from geopolitical commentators and media pundits to Elon Musk and Pope Francis. These peace proposals have been widely condemned as misguided and ill-timed, with critics arguing that any attempt to impose a ceasefire at the current stage of the war would only reward Putin and pave the way for further Russian aggression in the years to come. It is not hard to see why skeptics question the timing of recent ceasefire initiatives. Russia currently occupies around 20% of Ukraine but is losing ground on multiple fronts. In a series of counter-offensives that began in late August, the Ukrainian military has succeeded in liberating much of northeastern Ukraine while also reducing Russia's foothold on the right bank of the Dnipro River in the south of the country. A prolonged pause in hostilities would rob the Ukrainian army of the military momentum it currently enjoys while enabling Putin to rescue his rapidly unraveling invasion. Crucially, a ceasefire would freeze the conflict and provide Russia with vital breathing space to rearm and regroup. Putin's army suffered catastrophic losses during the first 8 months of the invasion, with tens of thousands of Russian soldiers killed and more than 1,000 tanks captured or destroyed. His military now needs time to train and equip new units of troops made up of freshly mobilized Russians. Nor is there any indication that Russia is genuinely interested in ending the war. On the contrary, Putin has recently adopted a series of escalatory measures including Russia's first mobilization since World War II and the annexation of 4 partially occupied Ukrainian provinces, Donetsk, Luhansk, Kherson, and Zaporizhia. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to my channel. See you in the next video.